I have this book, A History of the World in 500 Walks. It looks at key times in the world's history and walks that relate to them. Walks ranging from the Jesus Trail from Nazareth to Galilee, Mount Sinai, through the Upper Mustang Trek, a naturally and culturally untouched stretch of the Himalayas, first annexed by Nepal in the late 1700s. To tracks as recent as the Kokoda Track, a torturous slog through the Papuan jungles in the footsteps of the Australian soldiers in World War II. Flipping through the book's pages, it becomes so clear to me the huge wealth of incredible places to be visited around the earth. It fills me with this intense wanderlust, but also with a little bit of inadequacy. Home starts to feel lackluster, but I don't think that's necessarily fair. This is the Blue Mountains, just west of Sydney. It's where you go hiking if you can't afford to go somewhere more exciting. In reality, the mountains are so ancient here, and so untouched at their least accessible points, that a grove of trees known only through 200 million-year-old fossils was found growing just outside Australia's largest city in 1994. The trees are so rare that their location in the wild is still kept secret today. Sydney is totally surrounded by national parks, with mountains in the west and coastal vistas in the city's southeast. Getting into the outdoors for a few days is simple, and yet you can spend days walking on well-known tracks just a couple of hours outside the city without seeing another soul. In comparison to some of the world's quote-unquote great walks, veritable highways of hikers, Sydney's national parks feel totally remote in their emptiness, far more remote than they really are because they're so distressingly underappreciated. To me, this is just another example of the grass is greener paradox. You see a photo of some spectacular vista in some faraway land and suddenly the world you know seems dull and boring, when it really doesn't have to. Why does anyone hike at all? There has to be more to it than the vistas that hit you walking through the Alps or the Himalayas. It is said that going through something difficult with someone brings you closer. This is the key to why I hike. The sense of achievement and camaraderie when looking back at a journey is what draws me back. And the escape from any contact with the world, the escape from life, is what makes the experience so worthwhile. Sure, the vistas are nice, but at the end of the day, the reason why I hike is the people who you share those moments with. On the great trails of the United States, which can take months or years to complete, people talk of trail magic, beautiful moments of true camaraderie you only experience when the going gets really tough. When the trail truly becomes your life for months at a time, when your whole community faces difficulties and struggles together, when you begin to appreciate even the smallest moments, that's trail magic. Walking in total isolation for 3 days, you can't experience the true nature, reach the true center of trail magic, but it starts to make sense. When you give up all your mod cons and throw yourself into the deep end, it's the company that makes it all worthwhile. So, what am I trying to say here? I guess what I'm saying is you don't really need to travel to Everest to get the most out of hiking. You don't really need to fly all the way across the Pacific to hike for 7 months to experience true trail magic. Sometimes, what you've got at home is good enough.